To all the people who are caged in their minds. Dr. Vivek Murthy, former Surgeon General of the United States, recently wrote loneliness and weak social connections are associated with a reduction in lifespan similar to that caused by smoking 15 cigarettes a day. There is a huge amount of evidence showing individuals who report feelings of loneliness are more likely to have health problems later in their life. When the idea of writing this book came to my mind, I decided that I wouldn't write a book that speaks data, but rather a book that speaks from one heart to another. That's what we need, right? We don't care half as much about how many people in the world are lonely as we care about how we can deal with our loneliness. Well, that's the first problem. Why is loneliness considered such a problem? Why do you hate the idea of being with yourself so much that the times you spend with yourself is now considered loneliness? And there should be some instant hacks and techniques to deal with it. How can the idea of being with yourself make you feel scared? Honestly, I have no authority to ask these questions. I wasn't very nice to myself either. I used to think that there was something wrong with me and that was the reason people left me. I felt that if I could fix that wrong thing in me, perhaps people would stay. After spending a lot of time by myself figuring out my personality and thoughts, I realized that I am a pretty good person. I like being with myself. I always did. I loved spending time in my room, reading my books and wandering off to a distinct place in my head that only I am aware of. That always felt luxurious to me. I dug deeper into my past, trying to understand why I hated the idea of being on my own and why I tried to make friends when I never truly wanted a big group. I am an introvert and I like having only a few people around. People whom I truly love. I don't like to hang out with people whom I call friends but don't care about. All the mental churning eventually brought me to the same question. Why was I wishing for the very things that I hated? The answer came to me suddenly. Acceptance in society. Let me explain. When I was in high school, there was a girl in my class who had not a single friend in a batch of 150 students. I can't say why no one talked to her because she was from a different section. I was a new student. Yet, those same people became my friends. I even had friends who were from her section, but she, who had been studying in that school from the beginning, didn't have any friend. I used to see her eating her tiffin alone at recess, sitting alone in the last row in class so that she would be hidden, and even go to the washroom alone. Fun fact, girls would rather control their teeth than go to the washroom alone, but there she was, all alone. As much as people made fun of her, most students felt sorry for her as well. I remember I asked one of my friends about her. I didn't know her name, so I said, "Hey, why does that girl from Section A always seem to be alone?" My friend replied, "I don't know. I never talked to her either, but she has been like this since I joined the school. Other students say she's a weirdo, you know. This conversation is the answer to why we fear loneliness. The fear of loneliness has been injected into our minds since we were kids. We have learned that the kid who eats alone, sits alone, and has no friend is pathetic. In every book or movie, such a kid is always featured as a weak character who needs to be saved. Pick any book or movie, and you will observe a common pattern around loneliness in all of them. These people were shown as easy targets or an object of your sympathy. No one wants to be seen as a weirdo, hence we treat being alone. We don't want people to think of us as a weirdo, someone who needs to be saved or who can be mocked, someone who is unwanted or doesn't fit in with the cool kids. I don't think I need to talk about how much importance we give to others' opinions of us. It's our life, but we live as per the rules of society. In fact, so many people don't act on their goals because they are worried about what people would think of them. What if people laugh at them? What if they fail? And everyone sees them as a failure. Our lives have become a collection of others' thoughts and judgments. The fear of judgment is rooted so deep within us that before anyone else, we start judging ourselves. David Foster Wallace says, "You'll stop worrying what others think about you when you realize how seldom they do." It's quite ironic, but your biggest enemy and critic is no one else but you. Before anyone else, you know what you are up to. And before anyone can, you pass judgments on your next move based on what you think people will think of you. Look around you. No one's judgments are louder than your own in your life. When I was in college, I didn't have any friends for almost 5 months. I had a huge fight with my then friends and then left me with no one to hang out with. While my other classmates were having fun with their friends and everyone seemed to have a nice group, I was alone. I did a good job pretending that I didn't care, and although I used to talk with my classmates and seniors, only I knew that I was alone. Everyone else thought I was having fun in arranging all these events in my college. My juniors admired me for that, and my classmates were jealous, thinking that I was having real fun. How ironic. Do you see the problem here? Not a single person thought that I was lonely, yet I was worried. What if they think I am a loner? For a few weeks I felt sorry for myself, even though I was having a good time with my friend like acquaintances. I would find a reason to drag myself down, thinking that I was an object of sympathy for everyone. I realized over time that it's not pathetic to be alone. I realized that we don't hate being alone. We hate to believe that we have been left behind, and that, as we learned as a child, should be considered pathetic. Well, bullshit. Stop feeling sorry for yourself because you don't have enough people to post your huge self on the internet with. Stop thinking that you're a weirdo or there is something wrong with you. There is no need to feel lonely or sorry for yourself. Being alone is a part of life. It's a part of adulting. Your friends and mates cannot stay with you for the rest of your life. Life moves pretty fast and everyone is trying to run faster so that they are not left behind. The simple truth of life is people leave, for good or bad, and life goes on. Some people will leave for a better job opportunity, while there will be times when you will have to leave people for career growth. And then there will be times when people will get bored of you and they will find another toy to play with. That's how it is. Can you do something about it? Probably not. But you can do one thing, and that is stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop thinking that there is something wrong with you that needs to be fixed. Stop trying to figure out what you can change in yourself or how you can pretend to look perfect. The entertainment industry has done a good job of convincing us that being alone means being lonely. Especially in this digital world where you see everyone on the internet has a cute little group of friends. Some are going on trips with their friends, while some are posting pictures that define friendship goals. And among all that noise, it's easier to think that you are the only lonely, the one person who doesn't have cool friends, the only person who wasn't chosen. And that, my friend, is the primary reason why people treat being alone as a curse that needs to be dealt with. But the truth is, all of this is just a pretty picture sold to you. Hence, the first myth that you need to unlearn is to stop believing that you are lonely just because you are alone. I know that it may sound a little cliched, but being alone and being lonely are two different things. Being alone is a part of life, but being lonely means viewing yourself from the lens of sympathy and misery. When you look at yourself through the lens of loneliness, you feel insecure and left out. You start thinking that there is something wrong with you and that lowers your self-esteem. You start treating the time you spend with yourself as a bad thing. That's loneliness, and it has nothing to do with you. That just defines what you think of yourself. While I am writing this book, I am all alone. I don't have any friends, not even a single soul I can hang out with. That's not because I'm pathetic or a loner, but because I've never stayed in any school for longer than 2 years. So I never had the kind of best friend we see in movies or books, and the ones that I had either got married or shifted to another city for work or college. Where does this leave me? Well, there are two ways to look at it. On the outside, people might think that I am a loner. I am in my 20s, so I should have fun, go to parties, dress up, and have a date every weekend. Since I don't have any of it, maybe I should take a blanket, wrap it around me, binge watch Netflix, and feel sorry for myself. But how I look at it is, I choose to stay in my hometown because I want to stay focused on my writing career. I am close to my parents and I can share a nice cup of coffee with my mother whenever I like. I can focus on being me rather than trying to adopt the definition of a cool girl. And most importantly, I now like being myself. When I threw the lens of loneliness out of the window, I was able to look at my life and the opportunities around me. Sure, it took some time to come to peace with the fact that I'm not having fun and I'm here all by myself. But once I accepted that, I was able to focus on, okay, what next? I was able to create a lifestyle that I truly enjoy every day. I don't wait for weekends to have fun with friends. I look forward to every day enjoying one more thing, having experiences, reading one more book that I wanted, exploring the unexplored areas of my city, and doing whatever I always wanted to do all by myself, without anyone's opinion on my choices, without any intervention when I am lost in the pool of my thought, and without anyone telling me if my idea of fun matches society's expectation of fun. In a world where being alone is considered a curse, I should get off and use it to your advantage. Taylor Swift said once, "The scary news is you are on your own now, but the cool news is you are on your own now." It's a complete myth that being alone means being lonely. No, darling, that's not true. Being alone doesn't mean you are lonely. Being alone means you are with yourself. I recommend you close the book now and take a minute to think about it. Once you also come to peace with the fact that being alone is not a curse and it can be a good thing, only then should you read further. I have divided the book into two sections. Part 1 is about learning to turn loneliness into solitude. Part 2 is about turning solitude into your growth period. Only when you can learn to love solitude will you be able to do everything on your own that you expect people to do with you. Shall we?